Hi everybody, Jo here again. Hope you're keeping well. Hope you're having a good week so far. Before we start our little catch-up, I just want to remind you about the fabulous spring events at the new Dreamatorium. So this is at Ruthin and it's going to be the new home of the Lavinia shop. Honestly, it's such a magical, fabulous building, such a lovely old building, and Tracy and team have, honest, every little detail. They've spent hours, months just getting it perfect. So I can't wait to see you all there. There'll be lots going on the Friday and Saturday. But for anybody who can't make it, and I know we have followers all over the world, so don't worry, we have the online craft spring extravaganza, and that will be running from the Thursday to the Sunday. So you can join in online. There's Instagram, there's Facebook, go to our Lavinia page. You know, don't miss out a thing. There'll be lots on the socials. So I just wanted to remind you about that before we start. It's a couple of weeks away, so pop a note in your diaries, because I have to be honest, if you're anything like me at the minute, I forget what day it is, never mind what I'm doing in a few weeks. But this has been in my diary for quite a while. Can't wait. And honestly, I've seen the building, I've seen how it's been going through the stages. I remember when Tracy and Kev first bought it and she showed Sarah and me a video of it quite a few years ago. Then I just knew it was going to be, and I cannot explain, but if you get to visit, honestly, you will see exactly what I mean. You walk in and the atmosphere, anybody who relates to atmospheres and a bit psychic, it's just phenomenal. Right. What I want to do today is I'm going to create this design and we're going to make a DL card. And the reason we're going to make this is because I read all your comments. I may not reply straight away, but I do try to take it all in. Now, one of our lovely friends and followers, Rosemary, was explaining she lives in Germany. She loves the videos, but a lot of the designs are square. And she said, obviously, it costs more to send a square card. So could I be mindful and make something? She uses DL cards a lot. So if you're one of our new followers, DL just means double length. And it's just because this side is double the length of this side. Sometimes they're called slimline cards for obvious reasons, because they're a slimline. So I listened and I thought, right, that gives me an idea what to do for today. So this is the design I'm going to come up with. And again, I looked for one of my older stamps, and this one's called the Wishing Tree, and it's beautiful. Now, what I have done is, if you are somebody who does like to create square designs, I've just come up with this design to show you. And this, I just think, would make a lovely... Now, you know me, you could make the wreath go all the way around. I've used the Wishing Tree again. Now, the stamp set I've used for the words is called Balance. And on it, we have Create, Memories, Inspire and Wish. And I did think, you know, if you did this in grey or light blue, if you needed a condolence card or a sympathy card, that would be an idea. I think this stamp lends itself to so many different possibilities, and I like to give you a bit more inspiration, so that's one idea. But as I say, the one I'm going to create today is this one. And I'm also thinking, if you need an Easter design, this could easily be turned into an Easter design. Add some little flowers here, yellow, maybe for daffodils, little bit more, maybe some blossom on the tree, an Easter greeting, and you're away. Now, the piece of card I've started with is just one that fits beautifully on a DL card. So for me, that's 3.5 inches wide and sort of 7 3/4-ish. But I did it to actually fit my DL card, and I've already put a black line around because I thought you don't want to see me do that. And I'm going to start with the stamping. And as I say, this beautiful Wishing Tree. And look, you can see how old mine is. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair. So again, for our new followers, this is a permanent ink, so it won't move with water. So in general, and I always say in general because there's always times when we don't, but in general for me, I do my stamping in my VersaFine Clair, and then my backgrounds I make in my dye-based ink. So that's my elements or my oxides or my distress. And one lady asked the other day, do I make backgrounds first or stamping? There is no rule on this. It depends what technique you're doing, what inks you're using, what stamps you're using. Sometimes I'll make a background first. Sometimes I'll stamp first. And really, it's whatever suits the design you're doing and how you're feeling on the day. But I'm going to start with stamping with this one first. And I want to position my tree about there. I tend to stamp first more unless I'm doing a blended inky background, and that's just because for me stamping is my weaker point, and I'd rather do that first because do you know what, if it doesn't stamp perfectly, multifarious, double-sided card, turn it over and start again. But that's just me, so I'm going to give that. There's a lot of detail in this stamp. Look at that, it is just stunning. As I say, wishing tree, you know, you've got so many. If somebody's having an off day, you could just, you know, send them a wish via the wishing tree. Maybe put some little bows on it, some little ribbons. I mean, there is so, you know, so many places you could take this. Now, I've got one of the wild hares here, and this is from the small set. And again, I'm just using black, just keeping with the black. This would look lovely in one of our lovely browns, maybe pine cone. But we've got so many stamps that would team up well. I mean, you could put your fairies around. Like I say, think of what you've got. And as soon as I saw these pebbles here, I thought of the Forest Moss set, which has this group of sort of 3 pebbles, rocks. So I'm going to stamp one lot here next to our bunny. And then I'm going to stamp the other 3. I want them on the opposite side, but I'm going to put them just going off the page. And I don't want to stamp them the same way. So I'm going to alter them slightly and just put them there. Just so that it's sort of symmetrical, but not, if you get me. I know what I mean. And then this one, I'm going to stamp the word wish. Because I think, again, this would make one of those cards that I think could be used for lots of different occasions. Now, you could also do this. You know how I love to put the low-tack tape here and add colour? You could actually make a sentiment banner. Again, this design would really lend itself to a sentiment banner. So I'm just going to give, and if you're not sure what one of those is, have a look through the past videos. You know, if ever you're stuck for something to do, we've got such a wealth of videos on here. Just scroll through and have a look. Black fine liner pen. Now all I'm going to do with this, I'm not going to alter Tracy's designs at all. I'm just going to add a couple of little dots and lines just to almost extend that design. And the same here. So as I say, I'm not altering. You know, the idea with Tracy's designs is we don't alter them. She's drawn them perfectly for us. But I just want to add so it looks like there's a little bit of something underneath. And it's just a couple of dots. And then we can move that. And as I say, giving it a blot because VersaFine Clair slow drying ink. But what we can do now is add some of that lovely stencil work. But before we do, if you notice on the finished design, I've added the moon. But the stencil work doesn't go over the moon. I wanted that to stay. And also I've added some lovely sort of grounding, some scenery. So we're going to do that first and then add our stencil work over the top. It's just another way of adding, you know, I could have just built the scene up, but I thought, well, we've done that before, so what else can we introduce? Just to sort of mix it up a bit. And I've gone for the elements, so that's the mermaid and the line punch. Now, again, these are dye-based inks. They move with water, but also they blend beautifully. And I'm just going to take the lids off those ready. And I've got my 2 brushes, my blue one and my green one. And then if I get my circle mask, and I'm going to put the moon here, and you know what I'm like, I always just pop it upside down, blending the lid, always getting that habit of blending the lid, just because I just think it makes the ink go on better. Now I just want to add a little bit round the moon. I don't want to add too much. Just a little bit to give an idea that that's where the moon is, look. And then we'll give that a wipe, keeping those good habits. We'll pop that there, remember where that is. And then our mini hill masks. Going to add a little bit of something under the word as well. So just under the word wish, we'll ground that. And then under our boulders here, we'll add a little bit. And then under our bunny, and finally just under the tree, we'll just come in. And again, as I say, if you didn't want to add your stencil work, you could just build up the design. And I just think it's nice to add a little bit of landscape under the word. Again, that's not something that we normally do. And the stencil I've gone for, this one's called Foliage. And I just wanted to something that I think these beautiful foliage, branches, leaves, whatever they are, it almost reminded me of the shape here. And when I'm choosing my stencil, I look for something that I think it reminds me of that shape. Big thing here though, just before you get too carried away, you need to pop your moon mask back on. And then what you're going to do is pop your stencil across, just so that these two corners would just get as much of the design on as we can. And I'm going to hold that in place. So I'll start with the green again, blending on the lid. And your beautiful matte look keeps the lid so it won't move. And I'm just going to come in and blend some ink right to the edge there, up here, and just to under the tree there. And if I want to have a look how it looks, I can lift that up. Oh yeah, happy with that. Then into the blue, and I'm just going to come in around the tree, look, into that green area. Just move my fingers, and then right up to that top corner. And then before I have a look, just with the green brush, I'm just going to go over where it joins, just to blend those colours together. Now I'm happy with that, but just a tiny bit of detail, look. I want a little bit of light colour here, and I don't even need to match it, look. I can just put, it's very gently, I'm not going to add any more ink, I'll have enough on, just to add a little bit, just to the detail here. And then the design flows right along. In fact, I'm just going to put a little bit of blue ink in that corner, just to darken that corner. And remember, spritz this and add that. So I'm going to add that to a piece of card later, or actually I might put it in my journal. So, lids on. Now, I think you could choose lots of different colours for this. And lots of different, I mean, you know, think of, as I say, Easter. Add some lovely foliage. Now, to add some little bit of colour, I'm coming in with my lovely Clean Colour Pens. And the ones I've got here are, we've got number 98, Pale Dawn Grey, 901, Grey Tint, and 66, Dark Oatmeal. And I just literally went for the colours. So all I'm going to do is my palest colour. And again, remember that we've got some ink there, but I'm just going to go over the ink, look. And I'm just going to add my grey first. And I'm just going to colour the whole thing with my palest colour. You know me, speedy colouring. Then with my darkest colour, I'm just going to come in to add those dark bits. And again, here, look at the edges, at the base. So we'd have shadow. Then my mid colour. And I'm just going to blend over that darker colour. very, very speedily. And this is going to blend the darker. And then lastly, with my light colour, just going to come back in and blend. And that way I get that lovely dark. I just want a little bit more, that really dark in there, just to emphasise. And that's all I'm going to do with those. Couple of little finishing tricks. So with my, and I'm just leaning on the floor, you know me, keep my pastel pencils on the floor next to Eric. So first of all, with the white, I'm just going to add a little bit at the top of the tree here, and just a little bit down this side, and then a little bit on our bunny, just a little bit of shape. And then with the black, I'm just going to add, and again we're getting that shadowing, a little bit of shadowing on the bunny. And the shadowing on these rocks will be more this way because the moon's there, and these ones it'll be this way. And then just either use your finger, or this is a biodegradable cotton bud, just to smudge it. The smudging does two things. It fixes it, but also I think it looks better if it's smudged. But I find if I do it with my finger, I end up with black, and then that ends up all over. And you know me, I want to keep some of this white space. So just so it all looks nice, we'll add a little bit under the sentiment as well, just to keep that lovely cohesive design. And it's something different. We wouldn't normally do this, so it's nice to just add a little different touch to your work each time. Now, this is my white Signo, and I visited the shop, and look, I bought myself a new one because my last one gave up the ghost on me. And I'm just going to highlight the tail here, and then just on the stones here, just a couple of little, and again on here, just, and for me, oh, on the wish here. And I just think that makes all the difference, just those couple of little dots. I say, don't need to overcook it. And look at that, how beautiful is that? And I just think that lovely use of the stencil. I do think we all need to use our stencils a bit more. You can leave this as you wish. As I say, I just think I'm going to come in with my yellow. You know I love this sparkly pen. And I'm just going to add some around the tree, look. Almost a bit of magic. Now this could be blossom. But like I was saying before, if you wanted to add some, we could have some, looks like we've got some little foliage just growing in those little nooks and crannies. You, as I say, Easter card, birthday card. I know you clever lot, you are going to come up with such lovely designs, but for me, it's just a beautiful design for a DL card. And hopefully, and on the back, look, just stamp the bunny. And there's just a couple of little Posca splats. But I think even a retirement card, you know, because he's there being very thoughtful, making that wish. So, what's your wish? If you could have your wish today, what's it going to be? I'm going to leave that with you, and I can't wait to read your comments. So Rosemary, I hope that helps, and I hope you're going to share when you make your card. Please share with us. So you take care, everybody. Much love and hugs from me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.